right, bruh, fans, yes, you are getting your review on the same day the episode drops. Yeah, seriously, last week was 3 episodes in one and had a crap ton of other shows to review. What'd you expect? But just know that I did review last week's episodes 11, 12, 13. They all got their own separate videos, as well as a video where I kind of gave my overall thoughts on the beginning of season 2B and how it definitely seems promising for what's to come between now and episode, I believe 22 will be the finale. And I'm not going to strike points off from this episode because of what I'm about to say next, but this episode is another example of, damn, I wish we got at least 2 to 3 episodes a week. I mean, at bare minimum, I think 2 episodes a Thursday wouldn't be bad, because when you think about it, when you put the time, if you put the length of each episode together, that equates to about a 40 to 43 minute program that airs on TV for about an hour. So I think this episode was decent in the fact that it pretty much, of course, picked up where we left off, established story elements of where we're going next week, but it didn't have enough to make me go, wow, this is great, but I thought it was okay. So I think this episode is fair to give about a 6 out of 10. Not bad, but now, oh my god, great, like episodes 12 and 13. But this really had the vibe of episode 11 to an extent. And I will say it starts off pretty strong. It's 5:30 in the morning, and I just love how Greg reacted to Bill popping up the same way anybody would. I mean, well, let's be real here. If somebody came to your apartment, or basically your front door, I'm not even going to say early in the morning, but in the middle of the night, or they call you, you're going to assume somebody's dead because it's 5:30 in the morning. Who in their right mind is going to be, doing that kind of thing? So Bill comes over to see Tom, but Tom isn't there because I think Bill knows about his mother. So, Tom isn't there. He's going to be with his mom, and, he is suggested by Greg to call Tom to see how things are going. But regardless, you can help me with my problem. What's your problem? I'm not ready to get married. Regina wants to get married today. And, well, I feel like Greg seems to be up to date on all the situations going on, because to me, even though he's not Tom, I definitely see that Greg fills into Tom's role pretty well. I mean, he literally sounded like Tom in regards to, well, you broke up her wedding in the process of her not even walking down the aisle. She was already at the altar with Peter. So you literally burst in there to ruin a wedding so you can get Regina for yourself. Yet you expect a woman who was literally about to exchange vows to, I guess you could say, wait around for another year or two to get married to you. I mean, everybody made it clear, Bill, if you go through with this, you will have to, she's going to expect you to marry her like quickly. It's not going to be a situation where she's going to wait around for you to get ready. I mean, hell, that's what she did for a couple years. Then she met Peter, and then she was about to get married. So here you are ruining her chances of happiness because you feel like you're losing what's yours, yet you're about to lose her again when you have the opportunity to be with her forever. And I said this in one of my previous videos last week, or let me just say a few days ago, given the fact that I didn't review the episodes until Monday or something. Basically, you could have talked with Regina. I mean, I kind of put some of the blame on her to an extent because this man has just started the healing process of going to therapy. Him and Natalie had a good talk, and she was going to refer him to a male therapist to continue working through his issues, and she was reluctant, but since she honestly has no place to go because she gave up her apartment or wherever to move to California, but she probably already gave it up before getting married to Peter. But I think she probably gave it up because she was going to California but decided not to. And that begs the question of, since she didn't go to California, was going to give Bill another chance, was she going to move in with him anyway? why say get married tomorrow when you wanted to see, you know what, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea for me to move in. It's too quick. Then after sex, you accept his ring and then say get married tomorrow. So even though I do blame her to an extent, I feel like the main blame is on Bill for pulling out that ring, as opposed to proving to Regina that he's changed from his non-committing ways. But I just love how Greg is mad. Like, look, I'm supposed to be up in 30 minutes because I got to go work my first rounds at the hospital. I don't have time for this nonsense. Well, I'm your alarm clock. And I love it because, ironically enough, Greg isn't, trying to deal with Bill's tomfoolery. See what I did there? Because, Tom's just a cool dude. He would hear Bill out, but Greg's like, nah, man, I got to wake up in the morning, well, in a few minutes to get ready for work. Welcome to married life. Well, I don't want to end up like you. What do you mean divorce? Okay, well, I guess Bill's just going to not get married and have women going through his apartment like Mike has women going through his loft. This is one of those things where, why'd you pull out the ring if you weren't ready to get married? Probably just due to the fact that, well, you didn't want to lose Regina, but I feel like he was trying to overcompensate to Regina. Like I said before, she just moved in, get some therapy sessions going, and then once you feel like you've found that blockage, that wall that's preventing you from committing, tear it down and then get married. But no, you decided, I guess, in order to secure her from not going anywhere, pulling out this ring would just be like a sign that, oh wow, Bill's ready to commit. But for her to say, let's get married tomorrow, I don't know. But from there, Greg is, just saying, look, do what you got to do. My thing about Bill is, what do you expect your boys to do? I mean, you're the one who pulled out the ring. You're the one who said, yay, we can get married tomorrow. I get Regina was excited at the moment, but she clearly stated, I'm not just going to be dating, and I'm not going to wait around for 2 years. But I'm confused what either party wants right now. I'm honestly confused because she's right to have doubts, and Bill is just pulling out all the stops, and it's just confusing. But I really don't understand what Bill expects his boys to do. And even if they were to do something, Regina rightfully would just walk away from Bill, and then this fool would still chase after her. So I'm very confused what the story is supposed to be right now between these two. And that's why I say, if we had just a couple episodes a week, I won't have to ponder this as much as I am right now. So he gets an attitude with Greg, and Greg just shows him the door. And that's the thing I like, because, Tom, he would just be too nice to kick him out. But Greg is like, nah, man, I got to go to work. I ain't got time for this foolishness. You go ahead, go down to the Justice of the Peace, do what you got to do. I got to go down to the hospital to take care of people who got real problems. He didn't say that, but I was thinking that. But Alice actually wakes up because she's going to the sandwich shop to open up. And, John wakes up on the couch and sees his mom getting ready to leave, but says, hey, Mom, you can go back, take a nap. I'll open the sandwich shop. And obviously we know he wants to get away from Lydia as soon as possible. But he tells Alice about the murder situation. But I don't believe he explained that, yeah, she killed a man. It was her ex, but I don't believe he mentioned that it's because he cheated. But even if he mentioned that, hey, she killed her ex-boyfriend, she went for the jugular because he cheated, I don't think Alice would have cared at all. I mean, as soon as Lydia wakes up, she calls her the, what was it? Oh, Little Slicer. So I thought that was pretty funny. So, I mean, Alice is just having a ball, joking about it, laughing about it. She loves it. And she leaves to go to work and leaves John alone with the serial killer. And I'll admit, I remember when as a kid, I remember hearing serial killer, and I thought it was a person that killed the likes of Captain Crunch and Tony the Tiger. It's like, wait, there's a person who kills the cereal mascots? And then I found out what they really were, and I'm like, that's not part of a well-balanced breakfast at all. So we go over to Lydia and John just talking, and look, I'm the kind of person where I don't speak to anybody. I know a lot of people, like, I don't talk to anybody until I have my coffee. Until my teeth are brushed and I use mouthwash, I will not open my mouth to anybody because it's not a pretty sight. Just, good Lord. So all the hugging and whatnot and talking in each other's face, I'm like, no. Not until I clean my teeth shall I open thine mouth and speak words to another person. It just doesn't happen that way for me. But in any case, Lydia is trying to be all touchy-feely. John is like, oh, those hands killed a person. Don't touch me. So from there, she thanks him for letting her stay the night. It's like, oh, and I see you again. Yeah. I'll call you. I'll see you at your sandwich shop later. And I'm thinking, Lord have mercy. So that's one of the mistakes there. You never want to invite somebody to where you live right away without fully knowing them, because you never know. You might have I know they say be kind to everyone because you can be in the presence of an angel and not know it, but you could also be in the presence of a killer. Just saying. But Lydia leaves and John is freaking out. And we go over to Mike's loft. He's getting dressed and I'm thinking, oh, wow, he's pulling out all the stops, suit and everything for this meeting with the rehab clinic. But I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's not an all day thing. Maybe he's going to stop by, set up a meeting, and then after that go to work. But no, Pam wakes up and reminds him about how we need to meet with the counselor. He's like, oh no, there's a board meeting at work I can't miss out on. But Pam calls him out for his bull crap and basically calls him Michael. And I'm like, oh snap, Pamela is serious. But in any case, he's like, look, we can reschedule. It's like, no, this person has clients. It isn't as easy as rescheduling and whatnot. We have to go at the appointed time. And she is upset because Mike is saying, oh no, I'm fine, and don't make me regret telling you about my situation, that you're an addict. Maybe I didn't use the right words. No, you did use the right words. So it's a struggle where he says, instead of going now, I'll go after work. But Pam knows that's a lie, because the Mike in the present when he's getting ready for work is completely different than the Mike from last night. This Mike is looking like he's pulled himself together, but the Mike from last night was a Mike who was falling apart, and Pam knows it. So who's to say that her friend who went through this program did the same things that Mike is doing now, which is why she recognizes his BS. So on his way to work, and Greg is on his way to work too, they call each other from the cars, and he basically, without really saying it up front, he just, hey man, and Greg's like, oh, you calmed down from last night? He basically tells Greg, hey, I need to talk to you in person. But he's like, yeah, I can't do it now. I'm going down to the hospital to work. But he says that after work, we can talk in person. And he tells him to call Tom to check in on him due to a situation with his mother. And, Greg clearly knows something's up with Mike, but it's something that he can't say over the phone. It's better said in person. And even Mike's like, hey, man, now you're making me wish I didn't tell you, because you worry more than Tom does. And that says a lot, which does really vouch for the fact that Tom picked the right person to, quote unquote, take his place while he's away. So we go over to the apartment. Bill just gets back to Regina. Now, remember, it was 5:30 when he showed up at Greg's place. And, Greg said he had to be at the hospital by 6. So we can assume that right now it is, no. He said he had to wake up at 6. So we can estimate it's about 7:30, give or take. I don't know. But Bill gets back to the apartment. Regina's like, wait, where'd you go? I went for a jog. And, she's like, yeah, I got an appointment set up, Justice of the Peace, in about 3 hours. So I was thinking to wear a cute sundress. You can wear a suit, a matching tie, color coordinate. And what about your friends? You want to invite them? They're like, no. I think it'll be simpler just with the two of us. And he's like, oh, wait, I got a better suit to match your dress, and I need to go down to the cleaners to get it. And she's like, wait a minute. You don't even know what color dress I'm wearing. I know you. Oh, yeah, she smells the BS. And Bill leaves right then and there. I mean, I know my main thought is, Bill, you didn't want to put a full shirt on, man? You just want to walk out looking like that? But, I'll get to the Greg and Darla scene in a minute. I'll just finish up here. So John gets down to the sandwich shop, and he has a little back and forth with his mom about taking care of the delivery. In the back, I think Alice says, I don't want to do it because it's a delivery woman, not a delivery man. And John's like, you work the back, I'll work the front. I'll wash my hands, of course. And as soon as he's getting the napkin dispenser ready, prior to washing his hands, Bill comes in freaked out and he's like, hey, I need to talk. Well, hey, I need to talk to you too. And of course, it's a war of who's going through the worst situation. And in the midst of it, he basically has a rinse and repeat conversation that he did with Greg at the beginning of the episode. Regina wants to get married. Of course she does. I mean, she was literally in the middle of a wedding before you crashed it. So what did you expect, Bill? You got to help me out, bruh. Help you out? How? I'm not ready to get married. Regina comes in. Well, obviously she's already been there and overhears. And I love it because Bill keeps saying, are you going to help me? And John's kind of like shaking his head. No, I don't know if he's doing that because obviously he wouldn't help. And obviously, I mean, how could he help? Or because he saw Regina in the corner of his eye. And as soon as Bill's like, help me, Negro, help me. I knew this was what I knew this would happen. Bill's like, uh-oh, seriously, we needed another episode. But that pretty much happened the way one expected it to. So we go to the hospital, and Greg goes in to see Darla. Darla's in there because she got into a bit of a scuffle at work with a perp, and, you know, she's not allowed to go back to work without a doctor's note. So she came in to get a checkup. She says she doesn't like the department doctor, so she went to the hospital, and, you know, Greg is there, you know, didn't expect to see him. So in order to basically do his job for a checkup, this scene was kind of conflicting. I didn't know, and not because it was bad. I was like, I wonder what the reason that she did not want to disrobe would be. Is it because it's Greg, you know, the guy that wanted her in bed last night? Is it because she feels like it's a conflict of personal and professional? Or is it something else, like something she didn't want him to see? This reminded me of episode 1 of The Haves and Have-Nots when Amanda and Candace went to Amanda's room when they first got to the Cryer estate. And they're talking about what dresses to wear to Jim's 50th surprise birthday party. And Candace, you know, says, oh, how about this dress? Why don't you try it on? And she's like, wait, why don't you try it on out here? I like to go check out my dresses and get dressed in the bathroom, because later on we know that she likes to she tends to harm herself. So it's quite possible that if she got undressed in front of Candace would probably see like self-inflicted cuts and bruises and whatnot, and then have questions that Amanda wouldn't want to answer. So in this situation, it's like, okay, so why did Darla not want to undress in front of Greg? Is it because she just didn't feel comfortable because it's Greg? What if it was another doctor? Would she not really care? I do not know. But Greg's like, look, you can't just walk out of here because it's my first day. I just got hired. And if you leave, then that's going to be bad on my performance record. So she agrees to just, what was it? Let me just check your head and your blood pressure. And in the midst of doing so, he asked, was it a guy? And, you know, it felt like, was Darla being defensive because it sounded like a sexist question? Like, look, I'm an officer, man or woman. I do have a job to do. So he's like, no, I was just concerned. So this was a walking on eggshells situation for Greg. And I'm very curious how things will turn out from, I guess you could say, how they're interacting here in the hospital to when they meet up later tonight for, I think that, yeah, they're supposed to meet tonight for, you know, just watching a movie. But regardless, this was a pretty good scene. Interesting follow-up from their date night, you know, in the previous episodes. But yeah, like I said, this was an alright episode. You know, it pretty much established the formula for different character dynamics. I'm very interested to see how Mike is going to interact with Greg, telling him more than likely about his cocaine issue. And that goes pretty much the opposite way of, okay, I'm not going to tell my bros, but I'll go get the therapy. But now it's like, I'm not going to get the therapy rehab, but I want to tell one of my bros. So he's essentially trying to get some help, but I wouldn't be surprised if Greg doesn't tell him something along the lines of what Pamela was telling Mike already. So I feel like he's going to go to his bros because he might, or I'm not saying Greg isn't a bruh, but you could say that Greg is kind of on the outside of the circle compared to like a John, a Mike, a John, a Bill, or a Tom. So it's like, let me talk to somebody in a professional field of, health. And I wonder if Greg gives Mike an answer Mike doesn't like, which is like what Pam said, go to rehab. Mike will try to do it on his own. And like Greg said, you say you're fine, but don't wait until you've fallen apart to get help when you can get help right now when it could be somewhat manageable. So I do like the fact that we're kind of building on the Mike storyline. And when it comes to the Bill storyline, I have no feelings, or I guess you could say remorse for Bill's situation because you did it to your damn self. John, nice guy. He just didn't know what he was getting into with Lydia. And when it comes to Greg and Darla, like I said, I'm very intrigued. It reminds me of, what was that movie? Wait, no, it was, I can't even think of the freaking reference. But yeah, this is overall a pretty good episode. I just wish we had a couple more each week. I would be good with 2 or 3 episodes. But regardless, 6 out of 10. Let me know if you agree with the score. And as always, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe. We are closing in on 190,000 subscribers. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you're notified when I post content to the channel. And remember, Our Kind of Entertainment is the name of the channel, no longer the Haves and the Have-Nots Review. Some people have been telling me they've been missing videos because they haven't seen notifications from the Haves and Have-Nots Review because I've changed the name. And also, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.